On my watch, it is that hour, so we're going to go ahead and call our Ways and Means Committee meeting to order. I believe we have a quorum present, and do we have anybody online? We do have Representative Fry is online with us as well. Representative Washburn, would you open us up in a word of prayer, please, sir?
Our Father in heaven, we are deeply and sincerely grateful to you for all you do for us. You give us everything we need to flourish in life. Forgiveness for the past, example and teaching for today, and hope for the future. We thank you especially for the privilege of serving here, and we pray that you'll give us wisdom to think clearly and to ask the right questions and to make the right decisions at the right time. And as a follower of Christ, I offer this prayer in his name. Amen.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go in reverse order just based on who's already present, but Representative Gaines, you have House Bill 374. You're welcome to go from your chair if you'd like. I think everybody knows that these bills have gone through subcommittee oftentimes twice, so we will hear what you have to say on 374. What number, sir? 10?
10. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 374. This is the exact language that we passed. Passed to the House 166-0 last year. Just with the COVID challenges, wasn't able to get it through the Senate. But what this legislation does is it just lines up any multi-county water and sewer authority with any single county water and sewer authority and exempts them from sales tax. And that's all the bill does.
Are there any questions? I don't see any questions. I have a motion do pass, and we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Got aye online. Those opposed, like sign. Bill passes. Thank you very much. I'm going to read could you read us the LC number on that, please?
C 43-1855.
Got it. Thank you very much. Next up is House Bill 317, another one that we have seen, I think, a number of times. We had two hearings on Representative or Chairman Stevens, excuse me. House Bill 317. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. LC 43-1905S. You've seen this before last year. It passed out of the House. It's the lodging facilitator bill. It essentially brings everybody in line for the VRBOs and the short-term rentals as we collect taxes for the hotels. It does collect the $5 fee, and the facilitator also collects all the hotel motel taxes that are due.
Any questions for the author of the bill? All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Bill passes. Thank you. House Bill 292, Representative Williams, just state the LC number for us, and floor is yours, sir.
Sir, Mike, number 9. Okay, the LC number is 431808. House Bill is 292. This is a bill that the Superior Court clerks have been pushing to reduce the hours that the members of the Board of Equalization have each year for continued education. Basically, it would remove the 20-hour requirement, leaving the original at 40 hours once someone comes on board, and then 8 hours each year for continuing education. Clerks are concerned that the taxpayer access to hearings before a Board of Equalization will be hindered without making more acceptable to the volunteers who perform these duties.
Are there any questions for the author of the bill? We have a motion do pass. Is there a second? Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Bill passes. Thank you very much. Moving on to House Bill 149, Representative Williamson. Is he here? Oh, sorry. Thank you. Mr. Secretary. What number?
I'm sorry, Mike 8.
There you go.
All right, members of the committee, I bring for you for your considerations, committee substitute to House Bill 149 LC 431908. This bill has been through a subcommittee a couple of times, come with unanimous votes. That, and quite simply, what this bill does is allow our smaller pass-through entities in Georgia to take advantage of the same tax treatment as C corporations do, and it would allow our smaller pass-through entities such as S corporations and LLCs to pay their state tax liability at the entity level. Thereby, it lowers their adjusted gross income, and when they get the K-1s on the individual tax returns, as a consequence of being able to do that, there's less federal taxes owed. So our smallest businesses can enjoy the same favorable tax treatment as do our C corps. And it's a good bill. It actually, the IRS has approved this methodology. So the federal government's good with it. There's no sense that our small businesses in Georgia shouldn't be able to enjoy the same advantages. So be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of the author? Yeah, Representative Carpenter.
Nothing. Chairman Bruce, I sure appreciate you bringing this bill. It's a great bill to save Georgia taxpayers money, but it doesn't affect revenue at the state of Georgia. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for clarifying that. There's zero fiscal impact to the state of Georgia. I'd like to thank Chairman Carson, who's a CPA, for working close with me on this measure as well.
Any further questions? You want to?
At the proper time, move it. Do you pass?
We now would be the proper time. Seeing no more questions anyway. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the passage of HB 149, please signify by stating aye.
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 Those opposed, like sign. All right, bill passes. Did you give us an LC number? You did you? Okay, thank you very much. Chairman Reeves, Leader Reeves, excuse me, are you ready for House Bill 114?
I am. Can y'all hear me?
We can. Turn it over to you, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 114, much like a lot of the bills that have been presented before me, passed the House, I believe, unanimously last year, and we put it on hold after the COVID break, but it is the foster care adoption tax credit. Currently, the state of Georgia, if you adopt a foster child, then you are eligible for a $2,000 tax credit, which is frankly to help offset the cost. Once you adopt a foster child, you do not receive the amount of services and financial assistance from the state, and it's to help offset that. This would increase that tax credit for up to $6,000 a year for 5 years, and then after 5 years, it would go back to $2,000 once until the child turns 18. The fiscal note on this was relatively small, which spurred a conversation about, is there a potential way to do something more? And we have actually been looking into options. We don't think it would be prudent to raise the tax credit for higher than $6,000 because frankly, there's so few families that would have a tax burden with the state that is more than $6,000, at least on average, based on the adoption of foster kids. But we're looking at other options, potentially employer tax credits for employers that hire foster kids to work, things like that. So we're going to keep looking at that. And if this bill serves as a vehicle to expand it to something in the Senate, then we will consider that. And we do have support in ways and means of doing that. But for the time being, we just want to move forward on the underlying bill and would ask for your support. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Leader Reeves, I want to make sure we're matched up here. I think it's right. Is it LC number 338512-EC?
Yes,
We're working off this.
8512 EC.
Yes, all
That's
right.
right.
Very good. Are there any questions to the author? Yes, sir. Representative Carson, are you 13?
Yes.
Lucky 13.
Thank you. Leader Reeves, thank you for bringing this. I noticed also in line 23 of the bill, it removes the carry forward option of the tax credit. Can you explain? I understand increasing the tax credit from 2 to 6,000 per child per taxable year. Can you explain why the change being made to remove the carry forward?
It was something that helped balance the fiscal note on this. And if it, again, there's been discussions around this of, is there something more we can do? The average tax credit taken on this tax credit right now is $1,945. So the average is actually below the current threshold, but the bottom line is that we do have people that are, of course, on the other side above that average. And what we want to do is we want to encourage, a lot of what we're trying to do is encourage people to adopt foster kids. And, it would be wonderful if people in higher income brackets would answer the call and take this step and do that as well. And so we're trying to figure out how to help. It's not really an incentive, so to speak. You don't want to incentivize somebody to do something that needs to be a calling. We want to figure out how to help. And seeing that we might have some wiggle room to play with, that perhaps there's a way that the carry forward could be, reinstated or partially adjusted or something to that effect. And that's on the table, and we'll look at that too. So
I understand. Thank you. That's my only question. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Carson. Chairman Carson.
I'd like to
excuse me.
make a motion when appropriate time, Mr. Chairman.
I don't see any other questions, so appropriate time would be now.
I'd like to move due pass.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me, we have a motion and a second, and I'm going to ask for further discussion. And I believe Representative Bentley had a question. Representative Bentley, go
Good morning,
ahead.
Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I was really just testing to make sure that you can hear me because I want to ensure that my seatmate, Representative Reeves, Floor Leader Reeves, know that I'm in support of this bill.
thank you.
Outstanding. We do have a motion and a second before us. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill passes. Thank you very much, Chairman Reeves.
Thank you.
The last bill is HB 63, and we talked in subcommittee. I would actually need to ask Vice Chairman Smith to take over the meeting, and I'll speak to the bill if that's okay.
6. Okay, Mr. Chairman, we'll open it up and let you discuss substitute to HB 63.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We're working off of LC 431876S. And again, this was brought as a fairness issue regarding leases. And the main conversation and discussion surrounding the fiscal impact. And we did get a revised number. We do not have the revised fiscal note uploaded, but it is on the way, and it does cut the number not quite as much as we had hoped. It's between a third and a half of what the fiscal note says. Again, this does remove the rent charge, which is interest and finance off of a lease. We do not apply TABT to that in the instance of a purchase, financed purchase. So again, it's a fairness issue that goes back to kind of what we've been doing regarding leases on the title tax. So I would leave that to the will of the committee, Mr. Chairman, if interested in moving this bill forward.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman Stevens.
I just want to say this, one of the most consumer-friendly additions that we can make on something that was a phenomenal bill and a whole lot of research. So once all the questions are asked, I'd be honored to make a motion.
All right. Any other comment? Yes, sir, Chairman Knight.
I want to go ahead and put my support behind this. I know in subcommittee, we were talking about the fiscal note, as the chairman has said. The revised fiscal note is actually lower than the one that is before us. So I would like to make sure this committee and would consider, let's go ahead and go through with this measure, knowing that the fiscal note, revised fiscal note is actually less than what we have before us.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Knight. Any other comments, members of the committee, present or on Zoom? If not, I think we entertain that motion that Chairman Stevens, and is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same thing.
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. All opposed, same sign. Bills do pass. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Just a couple of quick announcements. I know that we have a lot of meetings going on simultaneously in the afternoon, and everybody is working real hard to try to get to some of these subcommittee meetings and other committee meetings. So I appreciate all of everybody working hard to do that. There are a couple of things that we're doing based on, the COVID protocols, trying to keep everybody safe regarding our subcommittee meetings. And I know that people want to come and testify in person, but we are asking that people, if they want to speak to a bill, that they go through the author or they go through a member of the committee and they Zoom in with us so that we can maintain the correct numbers in the subcommittee room. We'll be putting that on moving forward. But thank you all. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance today. Appreciate everything. And if there's nothing further, we stand adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.